Good morning, Indianapolis. So today we got us a roof replacement over here off College Avenue. This is the historic area. The homes are really big, about 4,000 square feet. We got us a brand new construction right here. Mike Epps' house is literally back behind here. But today we're gonna do this roof. We're remodeling the entire house from the ground up. But today we're starting with the roof. We had to tear off 5 layers of shingle and pretty much do the entire decking system all over again because everything is deteriorated. The roof was never replaced, so we're just getting this together so far. Got most of the old shingles torn off. We're getting all of the decking replaced along with some of the rafters. We have a lot of bad damage. You can see over here. It's a lot of damage done to the actual framing of the house. Replacing all of these gutter boards and the gutters, about 400 linear feet. It's a 40 square roof. This house has 3 chimneys. This is huge. You want to wrap all these chimneys in flashing, get some chimney caps on those. Get this whole entire roof redecked. Dumpster should be here in about 30-45 minutes, so make sure y'all stay tuned, see this full roofing system replacement, and make sure y'all like and subscribe to my Facebook page and my YouTube page. I'm gonna keep posting content as we remodel this entire house and finish this roof and check out this whole historic area. And y'all can check out my website here, wesbyconstruction.com. Oh. Bam. So as you can see here, this house has a lot of damage. Now the history on this house has the original roof. There were 5 layers of shingles, which means that every time it leaked or it needed a new roof, instead of removing the old shingles and putting new shingles on, they just put new shingles over the old shingles, which over time add a lot of weight onto the roof of the house, which causes the decking to deteriorate. And as you can see, the whole roof is falling apart, causing the gutters and the gutter boards to fall out. You can see all of the trim starting to rot, and this is due to the previous owner, before the current owner has it, was negligent to the roof. So after all these years, the water, the moisture buildup, and the weight of the layers of shingle is causing the roof to deteriorate and collapse on itself. So the owner had bought it and it had set for a while. So the neighborhood's up and coming. So she wants to go ahead and renovate it from the ground up. So we're starting on the roof, which is what you always want to do on these projects because the roof is the first line of protection against weather. And in most cases, what you don't want to do is keep adding layers of shingle onto your roof because it can damage it further. It may be a temporary fix if you're on a super low budget, but it will cause future damage. As you can see, there's 5 layers of 3-tab shingles here, and then they have a layer of wood shake. They use the old school 2x6 and 2x8 decking as the first line of decking, and then they put wood shake over it, which is a thin layer of wood board before they put their shingles on. It's an old school method, but we went ahead and tore everything out, took it back to the 2x6 decking. So that's kind of what we broke it down to, so we can put some 4x8 OSB board down. And as you can see here, this is what it was underneath. The old OSB that they had over it with all those layers of shingles is rotted from the bottom layer up. And we went ahead and moved everything. And they had so many different kinds of decking on there as well as different types of shingles. But nevertheless, we got everything taken off. And at this time, we went through about 3 dumpsters worth of debris. On a standard roof like this, we would only need 1, maybe 1.5 dumpsters worth of debris, but since this had technically like 3 roofs on it, we went through about 3.5 dumpsters. But nevertheless, it got done. And this roof right here, well, this is the porch roof, and it had the 2x8s on there. This wasn't as damaged, so the homeowner decided they didn't want to redeck this one, and the wood was still good. It wasn't soft or sagging or anything, so we just tore everything off, cleaned it up, and put some felt paper down, and got it all together. Nevertheless, now this is the part of the job where you start discovering what's underneath. And once we took everything down, we discovered that a lot of the framing for the house was deteriorated and caved in on us. So we went ahead and did a change order. We added new framing so we can put our decking down and everything. And typically on change orders like those, it can be a big ticket item. So initially, we did not have replacing any decking. Actually, we only included 5 sheets of decking. But turns out we needed to do about 50 sheets of decking, which was the entire roof, so we can make sure everything is structurally sound. So as you can see, this is a part of the roof that caved in due to all the excess weight. Now we went ahead and reframed that wall down on the inside so we can go ahead and reframe the top, put our new decking down. I didn't get any footage of it. I have a couple of pictures on there because I was kind of in and out on this project. We had a couple other ones that we were doing, but we went ahead and reframed everything so it can be structurally sound and we can continue on to the next roof. Now let's talk about the change order. So the change order, we charge about $40 per decking board. So it's a 4x8 piece of board. We needed about 50 boards in total. So you do the math, that's how much we charge to purchase it and install it with the nails and everything, which is a pretty decent price. As you can see, we got everything on this side of the roof, felt paper, we got our ice and water, we got everything done. So we didn't do this in a traditional style, which we would do everything at once. We would do all the felt paper, all the synthetic and everything at once, all the ice and water. But due to the change orders, and then we weren't able to get another team out to kind of help us with the demo of the decking, so we went on ahead and just start wrapping and replacing the decking as we went, and we kind of did it in sections versus doing it all at the same time. But nevertheless, the job gets done and we keep moving on. And another big reason is we had rain, expected rain to come, so we were trying to get everything covered and move on at the same time. So if it did rain, we got the felt paper and the ice and water and everything to protect the inside of the house. There was not much in there. She just had a bunch of old stuff stored in there because it's been sitting for a while, of course, but we still don't want the inside of the house to get wet and to get moldy and things like that. So, and as you can see, if you could take a close look at the chimney was not attached to nothing. Typically, you would have framing around the chimney that connects to the roof, but there was nothing holding the chimney down. It was literally free moving around, so we had to add some framing around there and then put some flashing and make sure everything was nice and structurally sound. So before we move on to the installation, I'm going to show y'all what it looks like again. These old 3-tab shingles. The roof was in terrible condition, even with 5 layers on there. No flashing on none of the chimneys. And this is what it looked like. We got some aerial shots. I brought the drone out, and we got some really, really good shots of our guys doing the install. We had approximately 6 to 7 guys the entire time. We had about 10 removing all of the trash on the ground while they were replacing the decking and putting all the felt paper on. But on installation, we had about 6 total getting everything in. The weather did do pretty good. It didn't rain, but it kind of drizzled a little bit, so we were able to stay on schedule and get everything nice and cleaned up and the roof installed and finished on time. And on this particular roof, there was no venting in the roof at all. So you do need venting on your roof to let your roof breathe. Well, specifically the attic. The attic needs to breathe and have airflow through it. It had no ventilation at all, so we went ahead and added a couple of box vents. I did want to do some ridge vents, but the customer didn't want to go with those. And, you know, it's still a pretty good option. Box vents are just as good as ridge vents. Ridge vents do give you a longer longer spread range of venting, but the box vents still give you ventilation nevertheless. And this is the next day. As you can see, they went ahead and started doing shingling the left side of the roof while they're still getting the decking and everything installed on the right side. And again, typically you would do everything in order, which would be the decking, the felt paper, synthetic, ice and water. Then you would install your shingles. But due to the change orders, the size of the roof, and the weather, we weren't able to do it in that way. But it still gets done. Everything's still protected on the inside. And the roof looks amazing. So now I'm going to break down the different components of the roof. So what they're working on now is called the ridges. The ridges are where the roof peaks meet. Those are what you need hip and ridge for. Hip and ridge is to cover the peaks of the roof. Now, as you can see, the part that I'm zooming in on, that is called ice and water, which goes in the valleys. The valleys is what they're working in right now. This is where ice builds up, different corrosion and stuff like that. So we use a special type of underlayment called ice and water. But this is the ridge. The ridge is the gap in between two sections of the roof that slants and slopes down where debris, erosion, and things like that can occur. So you would need something called hip and ridge to cover those meeting points of the other side of the roof where they come together. That's where you install hip and ridge. As you can see, they're placing the regular dimensional shingles going across, and then where the corners meet, that's where the hip and ridge goes. If you can see where these two guys are working at right now, this is the ridge point. They're covering up the two peaks that meet together with something called ridge caps or just ridge. And this is your hip. The hip is the part that goes down towards the ground. This is a hip. They're cutting off the excess shingles that goes across, and then they're going to take what you call the ridge caps and then cover that gap where those 2 points meet. And our last phase was to add new gutter boards and new fascia boards. And as y'all seen in the beginning, the fascia board, the gutter boards, and the gutters were falling apart due to the framing, due to the roof, due to the sagging, due to everything. So we went ahead and replaced the fascia, gutter boards, and got some brand new 6-inch white gutters. Got my team out, went ahead and got everything cut, fit the size straight off the truck. And everything looks pretty good. We got everything taken care of. Now the next phase of this house would be to paint everything, paint the exterior, get the foundation taken care of. Then we move on to the inside of the house. Now take a look at the final results. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge and let me know how y'all think we did. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. We thrive off referrals. We'll see you in the next video. Been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruise, cruise, who? Do something to us. Talk, go through us. Girls want to us, wanna do us, screw us. Who us? Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch, stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC easily. Recently, niggas frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace. Keep my peace. Cubans with the Jesus peace. With my peace. Packing, asking who want it. You got it, nigga, flaunt it. That Brooklyn bullshit, we on it. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. I put hoes in NY onto DKNY. Miami, DC, prefer Versace. That's right. All Philly hoes know it's Moschino. Every cutie with the booty for the coochie. Now who's the real dookie? Meaning who's really the shit? Them niggas ride dicks. Frank White push the 6 or the Lexus LX 4.5. Bulletproof glass tips if I want some ass. Gon' blast squeeze first, ask questions last. That's how most of these so-called gangsters pass. At last, a nigga rapping about blunts and bras, tits and bras, menage a trois, sex and expensive cars, and still leave you on the
stay shook. Richer than richer, so you niggas come and get me. Come on.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake.
I can fill you with real millionaire shit. That's cargo, my cargo. 160, swiftly. Wreck it by your new one. Your crew run, your crew run. I know you sick of this name brand nigga with flows. Girl, say he's sweet like licorice. So get with this, nigga, it's easy. Girlfriend, here's a bitch. Call me round 10, come through, have sex on rubs, that's Persian. Come up to your job, hit you while you're working, for certain. Papa freaking, not speaking, leave that ass leaking like rapper demo. Tell them who, take their clothes off slowly. Fill them with the force like Obi, dick black like Kobe, watch me roam like Romy. Lucky they don't owe me, where to say show me, homie.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your